Who's wrong and who's wronger? In this corner, followed by millions, James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell. And in that corner, ignored by millions, Steve Dash Rinko Levers.
Come on down to Dealing Days at Midtown Podcast. Come on the lot, say hi to Tex. That's me. The boss is away, and we're going to put you in the podcast of your dreams. Somebody in the back made a mistake, and we're sick with inventory. We've got 10 minutes to save your marriage. We've got the commute. We've got that Wrong and Wronger podcast, and I tell you what, we can't give this thing away. It's got James Breakwell in it. Bring Steve Olivas home, make your wife happy. Bring Breakwell home, make your pig happy. Don't confuse those two, but come on down to Midtown Pod, and we'll get you done.
Well, that certainly was a thing.
That was a thing, and I want to thank the inspiration for this character was Judy P. Superfan Judy P. She hit me up for my birthday, and I wish we were kind of scrambling to put this podcast together at the last minute because we both had a window of opportunity. But she sent a whole envelope care package, as Judy P. is prone to do, and in it was this cool cowboy hat from Canada. Cool Canadian cowboy on my cabeza. I'm trying to go with an alliteration theme here. But thank you to Judy P. for setting me up. She actually, James, I don't want to use trumped because then all of that side will burn my house down on social media. I got kicked off of Twitter. But she eclipsed your birthday present to me, which I will unveil next week on this show.
Okay, mine was spur of the moment and from the heart. Let the record show. And also,
yours was awesome.
Also came with free shipping. I didn't have to ship it past the guard moose on the Canadian border. So hers took more effort. Like, she's my favorite fan in the world, but now that I know she likes you too, I kind of question her judgment. What does that say about me? I mean, we're in the same category. I'm going to have to go sit in a corner and think for a while. But in the meantime, why don't you go ahead and introduce our topic today?
Today, this is a topic that was introduced by Mrs. Steve, but your birthday is roughly a month before mine. Did she send you a care package for your birthday?
Yeah, of course she did, and I'm sure it was 10 times better than the one for you, because that's,
Dang it.
She has standards, Steve, standards.
I thought I was more specialer than you. All right. Well, Mrs. Steve came up with the topic similar to how Mrs. Unicorn came up with the topic last week. But Mrs. Steve this week said cubed ice or shaved or crushed ice as they come out of the thing in your refrigerator that you put the cup in.
Yes, it is cubed versus crushed, kind of like how I have been crushing you career-wise over the course of Wrong and Wronger. Our wonderful interns put the spreadsheet together, and what did that spreadsheet say? I believe 16-14, I'm in the lead, and those are the only ones we have a record of. There's two mystery ones that I'm confident I won as well, so it really should be 18-14.
First of all, one of the mystery ones we did not do a show that week, if you will look back in your records. And second of all, I don't believe that took into account this past week. And James, if you don't mind jogging my memory, how did we do last week?
I don't know. I was so distracted by that amazing spreadsheet and my own excellence over the course of our long career. I mean, this isn't a battle, it's a war, and I'm winning the war, Steve. I'm sorry that you're on the losing end, but it is what it is. I'll try to make your treaty and defeat, honorable. I don't want this to lead to World War III. So you can look forward to some good terms after I crush you completely, like a cube of ice.
Wow. It takes a big man to agree with himself, and James is all of that. 16 to now what is presumably 15. 16-15, hardly a crushed ice cube victory margin.
Do you
James
even
Breakwell.
remember what the topic was last week?
It was... How dare you? Of course I do. I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
Okay, then. We'll just let that one slide under the rug, then. I do owe you a compliment, though, which is unfortunate. I would like... Oh, man, I got to dig deep. There's so much to insult today. You've just laid it out before me that I'm almost paralyzed by indecision. There's just so much there.
James.
But I would like...
I'll give you another thing to insult. I can't find the quarter.
I would like to compliment you on killing the Wild West genre deader than it already was. Like, of all the genres of movies, like Wild West is the only one that has fallen off the face of the earth, and you have reminded everyone of why. Like, if it even wanted to try to creep back out of the coffin, you just drove a stake through its heart, and it's going to stay dead forever. Not even Canadian cowboys can feel safe now. I mean, you had the spaghetti westerns before when they filmed them in Italy. I guess in Canada, be like the maple syrup westerns, but now it's all canceled thanks to you. So good for you, Steve. Good for you.
Wow. James, first of all, that wasn't a Western theme. That was one of those used car commercial themes. I know you don't watch the news because you don't want to know what's going on in the real world. You just want to know what's going on in the Breakwell universe.
Was it a used car salesman with the cowboy hat, though? Did I get that right? Not that I can't see you, but...
Yes, of course. Okay. Of course. Because, James, it's dealing days. Come on.
It's the mere association is what killed it. Your particular expression was irrelevant. Nobody is ever putting on a cowboy hat again. You probably just caused like 50 cowboy stores to close. Thanks a lot, Steve.
It fits perfectly, too. Judy P., she knows me well. And I'm sure that whatever I got was far superior and outpaces whatever you got.
False.
But speaking of who got what, I've got to compliment you, Jan. Two things, actually. One, you are approaching the finish line of a lifelong ambition that involves a bear in a tuxedo and a monocle. But I will leave that to your newsletter for everybody. But the present that you got me on my birthday was spot on and perfect to the extent that when I pulled it out of the package, we held it up and my wife and I looked at the thing and then looked at each other and then looked at the thing and we had that furrowed brow look that we couldn't figure out what it was. And when it hit us, the sweeping realization of what it was so uplifting. I had to rush over, put it, I had to apply it, I won't give away what it was, and send you a picture immediately, and your response was as bland and non-committal as most James Breakwell responses are, but it was a great gift.
Okay, first of all, you tried to give credit to Lola, which, come on, give me a little credit for my excellent gift giving.
Why?
Because it was a reference.
Why did I want to give credit to Lola?
Because it was a good gift, because it was an amazing gift, but more importantly, it was a reference to the podcast we had just recorded that no one else on earth had listened to. And you know for a fact that my wife and your wife would be the last two people who ever listened to our podcast. So it was impossible that it would be Lola.
The two things. One, I gave credit to her because she asked me what my address was. Now, if that was all a ruse to get it for James, then I understand. James is sneaky that way and has no problem using his family for his own ill-gotten
I asked you. You don't even... I texted you. She asked when your birthday was. I guess she did ask that part.
Oh, I thought she wanted to know my address, too.
I wanted to know your address because she got the gears turning.
Okay. And secondly, what you got is sort of irrespective of the podcast because it's something, A, I would have loved anyway because you know me that way. But two, like my wife gets the connection with me because it's sort of, it speaks to a proclivity of mine.
Well, now I am sure that our 6 listeners, which we're down to now, are very curious about what you'll be wearing for your hat next week. And when they see it, they will be immensely disappointed. But that's okay. That's on you. That's not on me. Because the gift itself is perfect, and you applying it is going to be the only letdown.
Hey, 2 other things, James, before we get to the flipping the quarter.
There's a lot of things today.
I don't know. Well, it's my birthday, man. What are you going to do? One is I've now become obsessed with our thumbs up and thumbs downs, as you know.
Oh,
and
no.
I soared on the wings of eagles this week because we got many, many thumbs up and 0 thumbs down this week on YouTube. So thank you all of our YouTube watcher and for not giving a thumbs down.
They care about the video so little they couldn't even be bothered to click the button. But that's okay. The step beyond hate is apathy, and we're there now. Just settle into our comfort zone.
Is there a step beyond? I wasn't even aware that zone existed.
I am confident you live your life in that zone.
Well, only since I met you has it become necessary. But secondly, how long in your life, James, have you had the full beard? For how many years has it been a staple of your face?
Not very many, actually. Shortly before I started the podcast, I think. It's probably only been around for 3 or 4 years. Because if you look, remember my original, back when I had the Jell-O emblem on Twitter, I did not have a beard back then. I had a little bit of stubble that I grew just for that picture to try to disguise my face. And before that, I did not have a beard.
Is that why you grew the stubble to disguise as a disguise?
Yeah. I was more in the closet on the internet back then, and it didn't work at all. But yeah, I grew the stubble, and then I don't know if it was a straight line from there to the beard, but sometimes afterwards I grew a beard, and for a while it was just in the winter, and then I got lazy and it became year round. But please continue with whatever inane point you're trying to make, because you clearly have a destination.
I do have a destination because somebody on Twitter commented on how I said last week or 2 weeks ago I was going to shave my beard, and then I didn't. And this week it's going to go because I can't stand it. I can't figure out how you can keep a beard year round. The thing drives me insane. I got to shave it off. So more kudos to you for having absolutely no nerve endings anywhere in the emotional center of your brain or anywhere on your face.
Well, I'll give it to you this week. You nailed it. I feel nothing. Inside, outside, wherever. It's just all dead. So yeah, you got me.
All right, we shall flip. By the way, the Guam quarter is at my house. So we have a regular old Eagle, 1995 Eagle quarter to flip today because I forgot to bring the Guam quarter with me. What are you going to do? There's so much
Find a new
pressure,
co-host.
James.
That's
It's
what I'm
hard
going to
be-
do.
So I will have you call the Eagle quarter of fate. What do the two sides represent for you?
Heads, whole cubes, tails, crushed.
All right, cubes is head. It is up, it is down, and it is, again like me, it is on the wings of eagles. So you, sir, have crushed
Well,
ice.
that's good because the whole purpose of ice is to cool drinks. And drinks cool faster when you have more surface area in contact with the liquid. A cube of ice has very little surface area because it's just got these big flat sides. But when you crush ice, you turn it into like 100 or 200 or 500 three-dimensional objects, each of which is in full contact with that liquid at every point. Instant cooling, no wait, because this is America and I want my cold drink now. Also, it's a lot easier on your teeth. If you're like me, when you're writing or doing whatever else, you like to have some ice in your mouth. It's a nice snack. It doesn't fill you up. It doesn't make you look like Steve. It just keeps you nice and lean. And crushed ice is so much easier on the teeth because there's no temptation to bite down. You just kind of swish it around your mouth a little, maybe nibble a little bit, no damage done. It's delicious, it's refreshing, it's cool, and it's convenient. You get the big ice cubes in there, and you know what they do after you go for your first or second refill? Especially at home, they freeze together. You get a giant fist-sized block of ice, and it's awful. You got to bang your cup up and down to break it up. Crushed ice will never do that to you. It will never betray you. It is on your side, and crushed ice is one step from a smoothie. It is so finely ground. You pour the liquid in there mixed with the ice. It's a key ingredient in margaritas. What do you got against margaritas, Steve? I don't even know how you can defend cubed ice, but go ahead and try.
First of all, I get my margaritas over cubes. I get them the way that men get them. I don't get them the way that when you put your pinky up and drink a pink margarita, you have it all. What is that called when you get the margarita all ground up?
Normal? Completely normal?
No, it's just not for us. By the way, you use fist and banging in one sentence back there. I just want to point out this is a family show, and I don't know if I can go on with you if you continue to be this vulgar. But cubed ice is the standard for several reasons. One, it's got a certain air of dignity about it. Like if you have a snifter of brandy with a couple ice cubes and you just move your hand a little bit back and forth, you can hear those things tinkling in that little Waterford crystal glass. And if you're wearing a smoking jacket sitting in a big wingtip chair, you can hold court. Anything you say at that point, particularly if you're holding a big cigar, is going to be drank in by all of your worshipers around you. So the tinkling sound is sort of the definition of having ice in a glass. Cubes are the standard. They're cleaner. I know you've got children. You got 27 kids, 2 pigs running around your house, and at some point your pigs are going to figure out how to get ice out of your refrigerator because they figured out everything else. Pretty soon they're going to be writing shopping lists for you. But when you push the cup into the thing for crushed ice, it sprays. It's just water and ice crystals and things all over. It gets your floor a mess. And if you have hardwood floors like us, Lola's probably getting angry because she's got to clean that up or it's going to soak in. It's going to wreck the hardwood. Cubed ice comes out clean. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. You got your drink and you're ready to go. Lastly, the beautiful thing if you get an ice cube tray is that you can put anything in those little reservoirs and make ice out of like alcoholic beverages. So you can put alcohol in your alcohol and double down with nobody knowing. You can be like grandma sucking it through a hollowed out knitting needle, except you don't even have to go through that ruse. You just put ice in your drink and you're like drunk in one drink. And I know you're a lightweight in that area, Breakwell. It just based on all the whiskey that you bought from a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, there is.
And what else do I want?
You're not done? You're not. Okay, finish up by all means.
No, I got one more.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm going to go on a bit about like a sports box scores. I'm going to tell old stories from my high school football career. I'm going to do what you always do and then
Win?
wrap it up. I'm going to roll my own dice, give the numbers. That'll be that.
You can try.
No, fine. I'm not even going to go through my last one because it's about sucking ice cubes, and I don't want to go down those vulgar paths that your mind wanders. So what have you got to say in retort, or do we need to wrap it at this point and just call it my victory?
There's just so much to unpack there. Grandma's drinking through the sewing needles, alcoholic ice cubes inside other alcoholics. You've got a problem you need to hide. Tinkling in Waterford crystal glasses. What is going on over there? So first of all, I am not mesmerized by the sound of ice bumping the size of a glass because I'm not a toddler. Okay, I don't need that sort of stimulation for my ears. I'm just there to consume a beverage, which is what this is about. I have never heard anyone rate the sound quality of ice cubes. But the crushed ice is just more convenient. I mean, mankind kind of figured out how to make ice. We only had it as cubes, and it wasn't good enough. That's why they invented crushed ice afterwards. We moved on. It's like moving from a solid loaf of bread to sliced bread. It's now in a more convenient delivery system that more people enjoy. That's why people say, it's the best thing since crushed ice because it transformed lives that much.
Who?
Yeah.
Who says that?
I just said it right now on this very influential podcast, and I bet you there will be some commenters saying that we are the best thing since crushed ice, only the opposite.
Oh.
maybe not listening to us is the greatest thing since crushed ice. It's convenient, it's enjoyable, it cools faster, and how dare you assume that my wife cleans the kitchen? I will have you know I keep a very clean kitchen because I am a modern man dedicated to splitting the chores 50-50. But the ice doesn't make an extra mess. I'm sorry if in the Steve Olivas mansion with you wedged in a corner somehow that one of the other many deficiencies of your sprawling manor is that you don't have a working fridge. Go and invest in one. I even described in detail in one of my newsletters how the process of getting a fridge works. Go get one, get yourself some crushed ice, and enjoy life for the better. Like, this isn't even me just putting you down. This is me trying to improve your well-being because I feel for you. I feel bad for you, I should say. There's no empathy there, but there is a little bit of pity. The pity that you're not enjoying crushed ice like the rest of us. So, Steve, I'm going to extend my hand to you now and say, will you please take my invitation to join 2019 and enjoy some crushed ice?
I shall smack it away. And you want to talk about my alcoholic tendencies. Isn't the whole reason, and this is me scratching back in my memory a bit, not that I read your newsletters anyway, because it takes like 3.5 weeks to get through one of them, but didn't you want another refrigerator and you were turning your old one into like a beer fridge in the laundry room or something?
It's entirely possible I said that, but beer doesn't take ice. Whiskey does, and the whiskey is not in the fridge.
Okay, nobody that drinks beer is an alcoholic. All right, well, roll the dice. And now that I've learned something new, I can apply that in my own life.
There you go. I'm here to help. All right. So if you want to vote for crushed ice and victory and comfort, vote for 20. If you want to vote for Steve and cubed ice and regressive policies, vote for 30. And if you want to throw your vote away, vote for 76.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 10. It would have been the perfect circle.
So close.
And regressive policies. So if you want to vote for someone who uses phrases like regressive policies, definitely vote 20. If you're like me and would rather just move on to pleasant things like whiskey on whiskey, vote for 20. And we'll come back next week and find out if I have knotted up our all-time record at 16 apiece. I'm thinking the answer's yeah. But until then, this is Steve Olivas, Dr. Steve, for James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell, saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and remember, 2 wrongs can make a right.